Hello everyone, my name is Dutch Owen. I work with the Blackbird Simulations SR-71 project, and this is tutorial number 2 on flying the SR-71. We are at the hull short line at runway 15 at Beale Air Force Base. Our mission today is to take the runway, take off, fly the pattern, and land successfully. So we'll be going through some checklists before we leave. We'll be using our voice checklists again. Remember, those are optional. And we'll do a little setup before we go because we wanted to use the ILS and we might need the TACAN. So we're going to set those up for ourselves over here on the radio communications left-hand console. We only have to change one thing to get the ILS receiver, 109.5 at Beale. And we may not need the TACAN, but we might, so we're going to be dialing in 23X as the TACAN signal for Beale Air Force Base. And here on the HSI, we're going to move our master dial to ILS approach, and we will move our course pointer to 15, which is runway 15, so that it will be aligned for us. That's all going to help us in our pattern and our landing. All right. So having done that, we're ready to listen to Brian and Walt do some checklists for us here. We will pick RSO checklists. And this time we're going to start with the before the runway checklist.
Okay, Walt, before takeoff checklist.
Ready. Engine run, IGV.
Set.
Engine, EGT trim.
Checking. Looks good.
Can I control the trim?
Check.
CG check back here.
CG is good in front.
Fuel transfer.
Off.
D-rich.
Armed.
Number 1, number 2 oxygen.
I've got both oxygen on and good.
Brake switch.
Anti-skid on.
Pitot heat.
We have a beep. That means we have to do something. Pitot heat is not on. We'll switch it on.
Battery switch.
Check, battery good.
Instrument inverter switch.
Set normal.
Standing by for the next phase.
All right. Well, just let us know that we're done with that checklist. We will now assume we're cleared for takeoff, and we will take the runway. And then we'll go through our takeoff checklist, which will result in us being in the air. Always a good idea to check the approach. Nobody's coming in. I think we have the airport to ourselves right now. We'll line up on the runway. And we'll go through a typical set of operations needed to be done. If you ever watch videos of real SR-71s taking off, you'll notice they spend quite a bit of time sitting on the runway before they actually take off. Well, now you're going to find out what actually happens at this point. So we will do the takeoff checklist.
Pre-takeoff.
SAS.
Okay. What we need to do there is we need to turn on our SAS, our Stabilization Augmentation System switches. There are 6 of them right there. And then after we do that, we press one of these recycle buttons. what that does is it transitions the DAFIC system from ground to flight mode. So I always press the upper left. And you can see the numbers rolling up rapidly on the TDI here. And at the end of that, Brian says engaged.
All the lights are
Want to make sure these are good. That's the only one. We don't have a flight plan with us, David.
Circuit breakers.
The circuit breakers are in.
All mounting in. Fuel tank 4.
Another thing we need to do before takeoff is turn on fuel tank 4.
On.
Compass check.
Mine's good.
Let's go.
All right, ready to take off.
10 seconds to go.
All right, at the 15-second mark, we start
10.
throttling up. All the brakes. And off we go. We're looking for 150 knots. Nose wheel steering off at 120. Rotate at 150. As soon as we get some positive rate, we bring up the gear. We do not wait. We have to get it up before it hits 300 knots on the airspeed indicator here. And we did. Okay, we're not going to be taking off like we normally do. We're going to be bringing the nose down and the throttle back simultaneously. So that we don't get too fast, we have our surface limiter, which we will pull. We're at 3,000 feet. We don't want to be much higher than that. We're going to slow down some more and start our turn to get into the pattern. Some airplanes have trouble speeding up. The SR-71 doesn't like to slow down. It likes to be fast, fast, fast. We can turn at up to 45 degrees safely. The limit is about 65 to 70 degrees before you get into serious trouble. When we get slower, the surface limiter has to come back in again. We want to be between 250 and 300 knots in the pattern. We don't want to exceed 300 because 300 is the gear speed. We will not be able to lower the gear at over 300 knots. So I'm adjusting the throttle as we slowly descend and get ourselves headed opposite direction to our runway. I like to keep it right between the 250 and 300 if I can. Sometimes I have to bring it down low enough for the gear handle to light up saying, "Are you sure you don't need to lower the gear here?" It's okay. Alright, so Beale is over there on our left, as it should be. We're going to straighten ourselves out on a directly reciprocal heading to runway 15. Continuing to descend. We'll descend to about 2,000 feet. Beale is almost at sea level, 113 feet. So, and as we level off a little bit, we need to give it a little more power to keep above that 250. That's okay. Speed is not that hard to control. Alright, so this little pointer here that you keep seeing circling around is not circling around anymore. It's pointing. It's pointing to the ILS. So we can have a pretty good look at where Beale is by watching this pointer move aft as we get past Beale. We are going to level off here at about 2,000. That's helpful. All right, we passed the end of the runway. We can see the ILS resetting and getting over in the correct spot where we expect it to be. The glide slope is down the bottom, and the localizer is over here on this side and this side. We'll be using these bars here on the ADI primarily for guidance while we do landing. Now we have a perfect clear day here today, which is always a good thing. Makes it a little easier for us. The SR-71, to the dismay of most sim pilots, does not have a coupled ILS approach. We cannot simply tell it to fly the approach. We have to do it manually. That's like the real is. You can see the glide slope bar moving up to the top. What we're going to do is we're going to let that get up to the top, and then we're going to wait for maybe 30 seconds to a minute after that. Getting a little bit slow here. I'm going to have to give it some speed. Although around 250 is a good speed for being where we are now. We want to give it a little extra time. I like to give it a little extra time here because I want to have more time to get lined up on the runway. Okay, I'm going to say we're doing okay with that, so let's go ahead and lower our gear. Wait for the 3 greens to come. We got our gear down. Let's start turning in toward Beale. Pretty good speed, about 240 knots. Maintain a level flight. It's also can be helpful to use our little moving map here. That little white dot over on the left is Beale Air Force Base, so we get a visual here. A little bit hard to see maybe for you, but as we get closer it'll be easier to see. We could zoom in, but I'm not going to do that. We're just leave it at the spot where it is now. Our pointer to the ILS is very useful here. It will give us an idea of where we should be, and we're looks like from the pointer we might be doing an overshoot, so we're going to turn a little bit tighter. Still below the glide slope. Looking for a visual on Beale Air Force Base. Looks like we got it. The runway is directly ahead of us, and we're lining up. Have to make a few adjustments, but we're doing fine right now. I'm going to take advantage of a feature that we have on our SR that real ones didn't have. I'm going to make that disappear so I can see. We are a little bit low, but no problem. Want to be under 250, so we're going to be dropping off the speed here. Not too dramatically, just holding her steady while we wait for the glide slope to start engaging. We're getting lined up with our localizer here. Both bars are in agreement, the HSI and the ADI. This is a good approach speed. You are able to keep, on a normal approach, you are able to keep the runway in sight as long as you have that bar removed. Okay, rapidly the glide slope's coming down. We're gonna get that stabilized. It will tend to speed up as we drop. The approach rate is about 1,000 feet per minute. Descent rate on the approach. Keep it around a little over 200 knots. The SR-71 is not an extremely difficult machine to land. It's not super easy either. Alright, so we are approaching. We're on the glide slope. We're on the localizer. We're having some real reflections coming up here on the glass, but no matter. We're going to be dropping our, as soon as we get down on the ground, we're going to drop our drag chute. I'm ready to do that. A bit low, but that doesn't bother me. Okay, at this point, we're going to cut our throttle back. Glide on in like this. It will tend to float a little bit. Just let her sink down. Touchdown. Drag chute out. Drag chute slowing us down. We don't want to use the brakes too often here because it will burn the brakes up. You can get nose wheel steering on so I can steer. And we've arrived alive at Beale Air Force Base. We'll let her roll a little bit. When we get slow enough, we will detach the drag chute. Drag chute's right here. I didn't pull it. I have a control on my throttle to drop it. We'll drop it about now. Let the ground crew come behind us and pick it up. You can pop out to an external view and take a look at the drag chute coming up. I didn't do that for you. I tend to concentrate intensely on those landings because the SR is a machine that will teach you that lack of concentration, even for a few seconds, can get you in a lot of trouble. It's fast, and there's not a lot of margin for error. So we'll exit the runway here and consider ourselves having had a successful tutorial number 2. And you know what, guys? This is the first take. Usually I have to do multiple takes to get this thing right, but hey, I'll take it. So thanks for joining us here. I hope you have happy landings, and I hope you look for us in tutorial number 3, where we're going to be doing a short subsonic flight and learn some radio navigation and subsonic flight in the SR-71. Then we'll move on to refueling, and then we'll move on to a supersonic high altitude mission will be our final tutorial. That's the plan. But at any rate, I've enjoyed this. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.